Hello, and welcome to this edition of Canton Contact. I'm your host, Peg Stevens. My first guest today is here to tell us about a very special partnership between the Michigan Shakespeare Festival and the Village Theater at Cherry Hill. Here with all the exciting details is the Michigan Shakespeare Festival's producing artistic director, Janice L. Blixt. Janice, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me again. This is one of the highlights of my job. I love it.
I am so excited because you have a wonderful lineup headed to the Village Theater.
We do. We're really excited. We open this Friday, so it's fast.
Well, before we get to the lineup of productions, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Michigan Shakespeare Festival?
Well, the Michigan Shakespeare Festival is the official Shakespeare Festival of the state of Michigan. We have signed off by the governor and the legislature and all that stuff. We always get asked, how come you're able to put official? Because we have the paperwork to prove it. The festival began in 1995, and it was this lovely little outdoor, a bunch of college kids, and it was in Jackson, Michigan, and one of the fathers of one of the kids doing this thought that this was delightful and this was wonderful, and so they started building it up, and for the next 5 years it was out in the park, in Ellis Sharp Park, and they built a globe reconstruction. It was quite lovely, and it grew and grew and became professional. And then in 2003 it moved indoors, and mainly it was because we could then take better advantage of technical theater issues, and because our union affiliation became stronger and larger, but also because we had gotten rained out so often that you really can't support a professional company if you're worried about that all the time. So we've been indoors in Jackson, and then about 5 years ago, we created this great relationship with the Village Theater in Canton. So now we open our shows in Jackson and play for 3 weeks, and then we move them to Canton, and we get to be here for 3 weeks. And it's been a terrific experience, and the shows have been great. I think audiences are really loving being able to, in Jackson we get Jackson and Lansing and Grand Rapids, and we get kind of the more western area. And then when we're here, we get Canton and Plymouth and the Detroit suburbs, and it's been beneficial, I think, to all of us.
It's a win-win,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, what can we look forward to this season?
Well, this year we have 3 shows going. We always choose one big name that everybody knows, and this year it's The Tempest. And it's a beautiful production directed by Robert Kozlerick, who directs for us often. For people who saw our beautiful Cymbeline or our As You Like It, it's that director. And one thing that he's gone the island itself is almost a character in it. It's a very dark and rocky place, and he's created, it's a funny comedy, and yet the themes in it are a little bit darker, and it's about power and the corruption of power, the magic involved in The Tempest, and how Prospera, in this case we have a woman, Janet Haley, one of our
female.
Yes,
Okay.
one of our favorites, playing Prospera, and so it examines how the magic has become something that feeds her need for revenge. And it's through the course of the play that she starts realizing that forgiveness and love is actually stronger. And so we've got a lot of festival favorites in that. We've got Janet Haley, and Brandon St. Clair Saunders is playing Ariel. And we have Alan Ball playing Caliban. So lots of favorites involved in that show, and it's beautiful.
Oh, it sounds like it's going to be a fabulous production.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it, and audiences have just been eating it up, which is, great for us.
Absolutely. What ages?
That's the show that I would say you could have anybody above, double digits. 10 years old and up, you're totally fine. They'll understand it, they'll get it, and it's so magical and funny that it's also just fun for kids and families.
Excellent.
Our second production, we always do one that's a little lesser known, and this year we're doing Measure for Measure, and that seems to be a play that people know about, but they don't really know. And everyone has been really surprised by that one, in that it's a 400-year-old play. William Shakespeare wrote it in 1603. But the themes in that show are, again, about abuse of power and sexual harassment, the treatment of women. And then there's also a lot of aspects of the show that are funny and played funny, but there's a lot of truth to power comments. There's a great line in it by one of the low characters who's being taken to prison for running basically a brothel. And his response is, isn't it interesting how the bawds go to jail, but the bankers sleep in peace? And so there's a lot there's a lot of that kind of stuff. And so audiences, again, we're getting great reviews on it, and audiences are loving it, but they're all responding to this, wow, did you know? Did you, like, when you chose this, did all of this happened? And one of the other things about it is that it's about the idea of absolutism in the law. And I mean, there are scenes in it that you're going to feel like you saw that on the news last night. So that's been a really great experience. And then our third show, After Ben's The Rover. As a director in a classical theater, I don't often get to produce women playwrights. But After Ben was one of the top playwrights in her time, Restoration. This play was written in 1677. And it is about 3 young English guys who end up in Naples, and they get into wacky hijinks and meet some ladies, and sword fights and silliness ensue, and there are just shenanigans everywhere, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh,
it's
it
just
sounds
fun
like
comedy.
it.
Yeah.
Now, ages for Measure for Measure and The Rover, what would you think?
I would think probably Measure for Measure, you're going to want to be a little older, maybe 13 and up, just because, not that it's lascivious in some way, but I think for kids understanding what's happening, that one will be a little older. And then everyone, The Rover, again, it's sword fights and silliness. So.
Oh, excellent. Now, I understand you're directing 2 of the plays.
Yeah, Measure for Measure and The Rover are both mine. And The Rover has been generously adapted in the fact that a Restoration comedy, that thing would have run like 5 hours long. And it's very, very dense in terms of language. So I've just trimmed it up, and it's 2.5 hours, and it's fun and a lot lighter than the original. But I get to do a female playwright.
How exciting, absolutely.
Right.
Now, tell us how long you're going to be at the Village Theater.
We're going to open this Friday, and we're going to run Friday, 2 shows on Saturday, and a show on Sunday. And then we'll have 2 more weeks following that with Thursday night shows, Friday night shows, 2 shows on Saturday, and a show on Sunday, and we'll close on the 19th.
Excellent. Now, why is it important to do Shakespeare in this day and time?
I get asked that a lot, like, why Shakespeare? Why don't you do modern playwrights? And I think one of the reasons that classic theater, that Shakespeare texts and are still getting done today, is because the themes that he wrote about are the themes that are universal, that are about humanity. So this year in the plays that we're doing, we have the relationships between parents and children. We have, again, abuse of power in the political system. We have envy and love. We have revenge. We have forgiveness and love, and all of those things that even in our daily lives in 2018 that we're living, these are still the same themes. If you go to the Avengers movies that, are out and playing, it's the big stories. And I think that's why Shakespeare still gets produced. We see ourselves in it. Even if we're thinking, oh, these are all kings and queens and these are magicians and sorcerers and whatever, we still see ourselves in what's going on.
Absolutely. And what a unique opportunity to see professional actors right here in Canton doing these famous works.
Absolutely. Oh, we'd love it if everyone would come out. We're so proud of our season this year.
Oh, it sounds like it's going to be wonderful. We're almost out of time, so if you wouldn't mind telling folks where they can get tickets and get more information about these productions.
The best place to go is to our website, and we're really tricky about this name, so it's hard to remember, MichiganShakespeareFestival.com. Although if you just throw in the Googles, Michigan and Shakespeare, and you're going to get us anyway. But if you go to there, you can see a calendar that has all of the shows and where they are. You've got little descriptions of the shows. You can meet the company. Everybody is on the page with their own backgrounds. And there are things like that that are just, fun and will make your experience at the show possibly more accessible if you're confused about what the shows might be about, or if you think somehow it's going to be too difficult to understand.
Excellent. Well, Janice, thank you so much for stopping by and telling us about this unique opportunity right here in Canton to see such world-class theater.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
We will be right back with more Canton Contacts.
Did you know that the Summit on the Park has its own free app for both Apple and Android? The app provides features such as notifications of classes, events, membership promotions, and much more. In addition, the Summit app allows members to self-check in and access calendars and facility information. So stay informed, download the Summit app today.
This plus this equals this plus this and this. Don't drink and drive.
afternoon.
Keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road so that everyone can make it home.
Attention all Summit on the Park members and guests. The Summit on the Park has scheduled its annual maintenance shutdown starting Monday, September 3rd at 12 p.m. through Saturday, September 8th at 6 a.m. During this time, the Summit, including all of its facilities, will remain closed and no classes or programs will take place. The annual maintenance shutdown allows for the completion of several projects and upgrades throughout the Summit's facilities, further enhancing member and guest experiences. For more information, please call 734-394-5460 or visit cantonmi.org 1052 Annual Maintenance Shutdown. We thank you for your patience and cooperation during this time and hope to see you back when the doors open again September 8th.
Welcome back to Canton Contact. My next guests are here to tell us about the very first annual Do Good Expo, which is coming to the Summit on the Park this fall. Joining me now with all the details is Recreation and Cultural Arts Supervisor Jennifer Provenzano, along with Recreation Specialist Laura Mortier. Ladies, welcome back to the show.
Hi, thank you.
I understand that you were both very instrumental in planning this expo. What exactly is the Do Good Expo?
Well, it's an honor and sort of in partnership with it's a national day of service and remembrance, which happens on 9/11 every year. So it's sort of to pay tribute to the first responders and do that through acts of service, essentially ways that you can get involved with your community. So there are large community service projects sort of all over the United States, which is really an incredible way to sort of respond to a tragedy like that or to remember it. And we've decided to sort of help community members find ways to connect to service projects that are throughout the year. So we'll have a couple mini projects that night, but really the whole idea is ways to, that's a great way to remember those that lost their lives on 9/11 is really to, and especially the service people that did, to get involved in your community and to give back all year long.
And what can folks expect when they do come to the Do Good Expo?
Yeah, we'll have dozens of local community groups that do service projects that give right back here in our local communities. Some examples of that are the Canton Public Library, Canton Community Foundation, the Rotary Club, the Plymouth Canton United Way. Those are all groups that have already confirmed. So you'll kind of come into the banquet center of the Summit on the Park and you'll see all these different booths set up. Some of them will just have opportunities to learn about them and to be able to sign up to help if you're interested in the future. Others will have hands-on projects that you can do right there that they'll take back to their organizations and donate or use. And then we'll also have some of our own big projects set up for you to be able to just give back that evening. If you're not even looking to commit long term, but just want to give back there on that day at 9/11, we'll have fleece blanket making, kindness rocks, and then letters to first responders that people can do right there on site as part of a community service project.
Oh, great. So if I'm understanding correctly, it sounds like you can get a lot of great information about volunteer opportunities within our community. And what a great day to do this on, 9/11. And then also you can get hands-on with some of the activities.
Yeah, it can be a long-term or short-term commitment. It's really whatever you want when you come.
Excellent.
And
Now,
so I was just going to mention at the beginning of the year is a great time to do that too, especially if you're a student, because you're often looking for community service hours. So if you're in the National Honor Society or a Key Club or one of these other groups that look for that, it's a great opportunity because you can sort of see the options that are all out there. And if you want to spread them out or get them all done in one big project, it'll be a great way to sort of assess what opportunities exist in the community and decide where you'd like to devote your time.
Absolutely. Now you mentioned these hand-on projects, the fleece blanket weaving. Who will benefit from that?
Yeah, we're going to donate them to a senior living center right here in Canton that typically houses like low-income seniors.
And for those folks who aren't familiar with Kindness Rocks, what's that project?
Yeah,
about?
you literally are finding rocks that you would find in your local parks or backyard. You're painting them with positive messages or different pictures on them, and then you hide them throughout the community, and it's just to bring joy to people when you're able to find one. And the hope is that you either create a kindness rock yourself or re-hide that one for somebody else to find.
Oh, excellent. So they'll be able to decorate it, and then eventually they'll see it somewhere within the Canton community.
Exactly.
Or they can take it there that evening if they want and then hide it themselves.
Excellent. Now, I understand that you're holding some donation drives. What sort of items are you looking for?
Yeah, so we'll have a complete checklist, sort of, if you want to check before you go on our website. But winter hats and gloves, socks, toiletries,
Canned food items.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's we've got sort of a large list if you just want to bring loose change that you've got around the house, because we'll be benefiting sort of a large number of organizations that evening, First Step and a couple of others. It's a great, you can kind of choose and pick. If you want to bring something for all of them, you can. If you just want to benefit one, it's a really cool way to sort of pick and choose and make it really easy at one drop-off point.
Absolutely. Now, what inspired you to hold the Do Good Expo?
Yeah, it was once we had heard about the National Day of Giving and Remembrance from 9/11, and when we saw that and heard of it, we knew that Canton somehow had to get involved, and this was the way. We're trying it out for the first year, and like we said, as soon as we saw it, we knew that this would be a good thing for our community.
And it sounds like a wonderful opportunity for folks who maybe haven't volunteered recently to learn about what opportunities are available within Canton and hopefully find a good fit for them.
Absolutely. I mean, some folks are looking for a really regular, they want to give back every week, and some folks just, a couple times a year, maybe it's a better fit for them. And it's a great chance to, if you want to leave and feel inspired, to kind of just touch base with a bunch of individuals that in these groups that they give back on a regular basis to different groups and people that need it. So I think it's not only a do good, but it's a feel good expo for sure. So it's a great way to sort of realize all the wonderful things that are going on in Canton and in your own community, and to figure out how do you play a role in all of that, or how could you give back to?
Absolutely. Now, I know both of you work with a lot of volunteers. What is the feedback that you hear from individuals who donate their time?
Oh, extremely rewarding. I mean, when you're hands-on and you're working with community members and you're seeing right there in that moment what that's doing for a family or what that's doing for a community member, it's bigger than any kind of paycheck or anything you can get. And knowing that it's a lot of the times you're doing projects and you're not sure where the money's going or who it's helping, but to be able to see that it's right here back in your own community and your neighbors, it gives you all the feels.
Ah, what a wonderful opportunity. Now, we're almost out of time, so if one of you wouldn't mind recapping the date and time, location, and where folks can get more information about the Do Good Expo.
Yep, it's September 11th from 6 to 8 at the Summit on the Park Banquet Center, and you can visit the cantonfund.org website for all the information, the checklist that Jen mentioned about donations and what groups and organizations will be there.
And our first 50 guests will get a free Do Good Expo t-shirt too. So that's an even extra incentive, some extra swag. If you show up and do something good, we're going to reward you for it too.
Oh, it sounds like an awesome event, and definitely one that everyone who's watching should stop by and check it out.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much, and we will be right back with more Canton Contact.
I belong.
You belong.
No matter the season, no matter your age, your race, your social or financial status, or your physical abilities, you belong. Canton Leisure Services is proud to be a public service provider for its residents. We are committed to honoring diversity, inclusion, and equity while remaining dedicated to a mission that promotes a spirit of mutual respect, feelings of belonging, and a greater sense of community for all of our neighbors.
Did you know that the Summit on the Park has its own free app for both Apple and Android? The app provides features such as notifications of classes, events, membership promotions, and much more. In addition, the Summit app allows members to self-check in and access calendars and facility information. So stay informed, download the Summit app today.
Attention all Summit on the Park members and guests. The Summit on the Park has scheduled its annual maintenance shutdown starting Monday, September 3rd at 12 p.m. through Saturday, September 8th at 6 a.m. During this time, the summit, including all of its facilities, will remain closed and no classes or programs will take place. The annual maintenance shutdown allows for the completion of several projects and upgrades throughout the summit's facilities, further enhancing member and guest experiences. For more information, please call 734-394-5460 or visit cantonmi.org 1052 Annual Maintenance Shutdown. We thank you for your patience and cooperation during this time and hope to see you back when the doors open again September 8th.
Welcome back to Canton Contact. My next guest is here to tell us about a very special event that's being held at the Summit Aquatic Center later this month. Here with all the details is aquatic specialist Brad Chasen. Brad, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I was so glad to see that you are bringing back the cardboard boat race again this year. What do you have planned for us?
So basically it's our annual event that we have to where people put together a boat made out of cardboard and duct tape. It sounds pretty exciting. It is pretty exciting. We are hosting it on Thursday, August 30th at our open swim time at 6 p.m. And basically it's going to be a race of each segment of our boats in 5 groups, basically. Groups of 5, I'm sorry. And basically they'll race across our lap pool and then they'll be timed. We'll give out awards even to the fastest boat, which goes the quickest time across the pool. The most creative boat, we really strive for people to get creative with their boats and making them different and unique. And then also we have the Titanic Award. Sometimes our boats don't always make it across, but those that go down in style, we do have an award for them as well. What's different this year is we're actually offering a build day the night before, and we'll host that in our gymnasium to where we'll provide cardboard and duct tape for a material fee. And basically you can build your boat right at the center and then we'll display it throughout the rest of the evening into the next day when we go and race the boats.
Oh, it sounds like such a fun event.
Yeah.
So if I'm understanding correctly, you can only use cardboard and duct tape. And then can you decorate it? Are you allowed?
Yeah, absolutely. You can use paint to decorate it as well. We've had many people use that as well. But the main focus is the duct tape and the cardboard as the structural part. But if you want to decorate it with stickers or paint or whatever, you can totally do that.
And how does this work? So people show up, if they build it at home, they bring it in the night of the event. And then, so they'll take turns, and are they competing against other people, or are they doing it just solo across the pool?
Yeah, they'll be racing against 4 other boats.
Gotcha.
The one thing with registration is we highly recommend you register before the night of the event. We base the event to run based on how many people we have registered before it comes up. So we highly recommend people to register, and you can do that by going to our website at summitonthepark.org.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So then once they actually go through, then you pick the best times and, award the other categories as well.
Yeah, these boats, they're unique to the point where they can only go usually across once. So we let them run across the lap pool once, and then we record everybody's time, so then that way they know, and then that way we'll do everything off from that.
Excellent. And do they need to register by a certain date?
Yeah, I would say probably the Friday before August 30th. So if you look at your calendar, it's probably like the 23rd or 22nd, I believe, of August. So then that way we know that the event will run.
Excellent. And if I am understanding correctly, the build is taking place at the summit the day before. And that's an additional fee.
Yes. Yeah, that will be an additional $12. You'll get 3 rolls of duct tape and basically a package of cardboard, so then that way you can build your boat.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like a fabulous family event to take part in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what else is going on over at the Aquatic Center?
In our aquatic center for our swim lesson program, we do have some things coming up in the fall that are some significant changes. With our preschool program, it used to be 30 minutes long. Now it's actually going to be 40 minutes long, so it'll be the same amount of time as our youth classes. So that's a significant difference. We have some Summit Swim School perks that are coming up as well. So one of those perks for our parent-child program, or for our parent-child level 1 and 2 for fall 1, we're offering free package of swim diapers for each class that you come to. So that first day, they'll get a bag with all the diapers in them for them to take home. So then that way they don't have to worry about purchasing swim diapers in order to come to class.
Oh, what a nice little perk there.
Yeah. So with our preschool, we are actually going to be doing a parent tot time pass. This will be for both preschool classes and our parent-child classes. For the session that you register for, so say fall 1, that goes from September 9th to October 27th. They'll be able to come to our parent tot times for free, whether they're a member, resident, or a non-member, or non-resident, I'm sorry. They'll be able to visit us and be able to enjoy that time themselves with their child, and then up to 2 adults.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there's a lot of thoughtful changes happening at the Aquatic Center.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I understand that you are also looking for potential lifeguards.
Yes, absolutely. We have a lifeguard class going on right now, but we'll have another one come November that we'll be promoting as well. We're always hiring lifeguards. We definitely are very flexible with our scheduling of the staff. We have a lot of people that work other jobs. They have extracurriculars, we're sports, so if they're on the swim team, basketball team, football team, we can definitely work around that.
Wonderful. And what criteria, how old do you need to be in order to become a lifeguard at the Summit on the Park?
Yeah, in order to apply, you have to be 16 years old. With the lifeguard certification, you can be 15 and take the class. We do require Jeff Ellis and Associates. A lot of other facilities around us are Red Cross. We unfortunately can't do that, but they can apply with that Red Cross lifeguard cert, but then they'll just have to go through a Jeff Ellis class.
Excellent. Oh,
Yeah.
good to know. Well, we are almost out of time, but if you wouldn't mind just kind of recapping the very fun event that you have coming on August 30th at the Summit so that folks at home can run right out and register.
Absolutely. It's our cardboard boat race. It'll be held on Thursday, August 30th. It starts at 6 p.m., but the voting for the most creative boat will start at about 5:30. So make sure that you get yourself registered before the date of the event. And if you don't have any place to build your boat, you can do it on the 29th with us here at the Summit.
Excellent. Brad, thank you so much for giving us the inside scoop about this year's cardboard boat race.
No problem.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time on Canton Contact.